there, Shawna Karrasch here with another Ask Shawna answer coming to you from Villanova. Okay, so this one is from Jessie, and it says, "Hi, my horse Addy had a hard beginning, as you know, and still does occasionally go back into high anxiety mode where she's running around her stall and acting very stirred up. One of these incidents occurred recently when I had another horse in the cross ties next to her stall. The horse in the ties, who is a herd leader, became startled by something and snorted a few times, which distressed Addy. At first, I went to her stall and asked her to target and work on some other easy behaviors. As long as I stayed with her, she was instantly relaxed. Even without target or food, she was content as long as I was there. As soon as I would go to leave, she would become worried and begin frantically pacing again. I repeated this many times, with her becoming calm each time I went to her. By going back to her stall, I know I was reinforcing the behavior, but didn't know what else to do. I know sustained periods of stress can harm and shrink the hippocampus, so I always try my best to placate Addy so she can continue to heal. She doesn't need any more hippocampus shrinkage. This went on for 20 plus minutes, and at that point, I decided to go back to attending to my other horse on the cross ties and ignore Addy. She then started to calm down. She overcame her anxiety more quickly when I finally left her alone, but I don't feel nice in doing that, and I wanted to be there to help her relax. As an aside, Addy still does sometimes become quite aroused by getting to have a positive reinforcement session, so I'm unsure if this plays into it. Relaxation is something we still have far to go with. Does it ever come a time when it's better for a horse in this state to self-soothe, or how can I translate it to eventually allowing me to leave her in these times? Thank you." Okay, Jessie, I do know Addy, and I can picture her, and I can picture the other horse, because I know who that is too. So anyway, so what I would do is, I think you did the right thing. You need to help her be in a better place, period. That it's, it's not like you gotta learn your lesson. So I think that was the right thing to do, is go to her and help her. And what I think, probably because Hadley is the one who really gently and kindly leads that group, her being distressed probably over something, whatever it was, no matter how fleeting, probably got her a little worked up, because she thought, if she's worked up, it must be something. So I think that probably really, she went over threshold, I'm sure, and was really truly concerned. And then it took her a little bit to decompress. And I do think Addy's history lends itself to this. She's had places where she gets worried, and then she gets insecure about the whole world, I think, because it really has been, she had a hard period there, and you're doing great to help her. But I think it's kind of probably like a PTSD in a way, even though we don't know exactly what the startle was. It could have been something that triggered her to something very familiar from that hard period in her life. So we don't know. It could be a set in the air, for all we know, but something triggered her. So was it Hadley, her, who was there and triggered her? Or was it something familiar that Hadley reacted to too? We don't really know. Maybe it's the sound of a motorbike going by, and that was significant at another point in her life. We don't know those parts. So I think she probably genuinely got startled. Hadley getting startled probably didn't help her, as far as going, okay, it's okay. And then I think she genuinely was there. And I think that's the thing, and you know this, but for everybody listening, their fear is their reality. That's all there is to it. We can't say, well, that's dumb, move on. It is a real thing for her, and for whatever it was genuine. Now, I think you also have a good point about, then were you reinforcing it? And she's kind of like, I feel better with you here, because she does. It was very clear she did. So you kind of have to find that point where you're like, yes, I want you to feel better, and I need to help you with that, but we could do this all day long. So at some point I have to cut it and go. So I think there's a way, though, of things you can do. So you did the right thing. I think you absolutely did the right thing. And I think when you finally I just need to go back to working with Hadley, that was the right thing to do too, because you'd helped her settle quite a bit. but there comes a point where you're like, I can't be here all day, and I also need to tend to the other horse who by now is settled back down and in a better place. So I think you probably shifted to I need you to be here to help me settle, to I would rather you be here because I like to do sessions all day long too. So knowing there's a couple pieces at play there. One, knowing that she does get excited about the sessions. I think that she could even get your attention was probably exciting and hopeful for her. So she's thinking, maybe we'll get to do a session if you keep being here. And if I keep doing this, you keep coming back. If I keep doing this, you keep coming back. So it probably turned into that cycle later. So what I would do is I would work on her feeling connected to you when she's further away. So instead of saying, so now she thinks you need to be here. This is when I'm hopeful and we might get to do a session. But if you're over there, it means I'm not with you and we're not doing a session. So I would do things where I have Hadley or Addy, have Addy like in the cross ties. And then you go and in a fine state where she's comfortable and relaxed. And so then you go away and then you click when you're far away and you come back and reinforce her. So she starts learning just because you're not by her side doesn't mean a session isn't underway or that you're not paying attention to her, that you have that same comforting feeling of knowing that she gets that comforting feeling of knowing that you are with her, you are paying attention to her, and you are connected, even if you're across the way. So it means I would start doing some things a little more remotely, so even when she's standing in her stall and doing things, you click from far away and then you come over and reinforce her. So she realizes, and you can pay attention and you can kind of hide a little bit. So she starts realizing that she is still with you even when she's further away, or if she's in the wash stall, or even if she's out in the arena and she's just out there, you can still reinforce her when she's click and reinforce her when she's doing things. But I think the points when they're in the cross ties, when they're in a stall, when they're in the wash stall, which is cross ties, here in the US, in the other countries, they don't use that, but tied to a trailer. I mean, whatever people do, however you have that done, that they feel that connection even from further away. And a stay is a good way to work that too. So if you start working on a stay and then you can go farther away and you can click and reinforce from farther away. So she starts realizing just because you're not by her side that she's still getting reinforced. Anyway, I hope that helps you out, and keep working on that relaxation in general. I mean, I think that's some horses just take longer than others. And so you just keep working on it. It's not like you can sit there and go, relax. You have to keep doing things and work on the times when you capture a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more relaxed. So I think that will still help her. But I even think if you have relaxed and she's great, she's good with that, I still think when she gets startled, she's going to go back to that place that kind of triggers her old fears. So having that connection from further away will help. Anyway, Jessie, I hope that helped you out, and I hope that you give me an update on how it goes, and we'll continue to kind of work through that a little bit. So for you or anybody else, of course, you know how to get a hold of me in more ways than one. But for other people who are listening, if you have any questions, I would like you to go to shawnakarrasch.com or vianovatraining.com. The two websites are merged, and you will find a page there. It says Ask Shawna. It's a tab, and that'll take you to a place where you can submit a form, and I will get your question, and I can answer your Ask Shawna question. Also, there is also a tab there. It says Podcast, and my podcast has like 50 episodes now. So there's lots and lots and lots of content there, and that addresses a lot of issues too, that sometimes those will help for other, if you're new to that or didn't know about that, that can also offer information for those of you that are newer to the Ask Shawna or the Equine Clicker 101 podcast. All right, until next time, take care. Bye-bye.